Just in case you were wondering, wanted to let everybody know that this review is over the first episode only, so as not to spoil the rest of the show. Before there was Digimon, before there was Yu-Gi-Oh!, before there was Zatch Bell, even before Pokemon, there was me, barely being born. And I never watched these shows growing up because I had something called 4Kids Entertainment. They had some awesome cartoons, like Sonic X and Kirby, and my first intro into One Piece. And there was one other show that was on for a short time before 4Kids became Foxbox, and that show is Medabots.
Medabots! Go get your friends.
Known as Medaroto in Japan, Medaroto was originally an RPG made by Natsume and published by Imagineer in 1997. The anime series didn't release until July 2nd, 1999, 3 months after Digimon first hit Japanese television. And with Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, even Dragon Ball Z overshadowing this small series, it's understandable how many of you might not have heard of this little gem. Now, if you've seen Zatch Bell, then this anime is very easy to understand. If not, then I'll try to take you guys through as easy as possible because this anime just needs a little TLC to show its true potential. Now let's get started. Not too many kids shows start off with a guy stumbling from a burning van clutching a briefcase, but this one did. After a brief scene with Discount Tuxedo Mask stealing the medal from the supposed bad guys, he decides he wants to be comedic relief and drops the medal and then himself into the river. Now we're at the school where a row battle is about to take place for ownership of the student council room. Now in case you didn't know what a row battle is, I'll explain using our two fighters, Peppercat, owned by Samantha, the resident bully, and Dr. Bok Choy, owned by the student council president. Now the fight is simple, it's a submission match. Once one of the bots decides to quit or physically cannot continue, their meta will pop out, similar to tapping out in a UFC or WWE match. As far as I can tell, all types of attacks are allowed, but it seems that it's more akin to bot battles in real life, where certain bots are built for power or speed specifically, with a few enhancements to further increase their chance of winning. Which is why Peppercat used an electric bolt type attack since her speed allowed her to get inside her opponent's defenses quickly. Also, side note, whoever loses the fight has to give up a piece of their Medabot as a trophy to which the fighter can either swap out for their current fighter's equipment, or they can just keep if they really wanted to, similar to changing the piece on a figurine. And that's a row battle, for those not in the know. In this scene, we're introduced to the first of many pretty decent fights, also getting to meet our main character, Ikki, and the main side character, Erica. Both characters are observing the match, and when it ends in Peppercat's favor, he immediately says he could beat her in one blow if he wanted to. To which we find out through Samantha's bullying that he does not have a Medabot, which is a rare thing for this town apparently. So afterwards, Ikki and Erica stop by the Medabot store to look at some Medabots. The store keeps wanting to sell him one, but Ikki doesn't have enough money to buy one of the nicer Medabots, so the shopkeeper offers to give him an older model for cheap, and give him a tin pet for free. But the little ungrateful brats laugh at him for trying to sell off a piece of junk when he was just being considerate. Ikki then turns into a raccoon and picks up the first shiny thing he sees to make himself feel better. And guess what? It's a medal! Foreshadowing! Introducing the actual plot of today's episode. The rockers who have been forcing people into row battles so they can steal their parts show up and take a minor character's bombarder for their own. Samantha hears about it and runs off to find the gang responsible, but joins them once she learns they're stronger than her. Ikki and Erica, being the on-the-job-as-always news reporter, shows up with their camera to take pics of the gang that's been terrorizing the town and gets caught up in her own predicament when one of the rockers takes her camera and tries to goad her into a row battle. Ikki then runs away, except to be stopped by an old man. Now this part is actually pretty funny, so just watch.
That's where you're wrong, boy. All you need is you.
Huh?
You've got to take what little you have and use it. Start small, nurture what you can, breathe life into it, and make it your own. You need to look deep down, into your soul.
My soul?
That's right, son. And once you've dug deep into your soul, dig down deep into your pockets, take what little money you have, and for once, do the right thing. Buy one of my chicks. Huh? Where'd he go?
Inspired by the old man's words, he runs and grabs his piggy bank, intending to buy the old robot from the shopkeep. He purchases it, puts it together, and names him Medabots. After seeing the medal, the shopkeeper runs after Icky, curious as to where he obtained such treasure. Did I mention how much I love Mr. Referee? He is the single funniest part of this show because of how goofy his entrance is. That aside, the battle begins with Medabots not working at all. Taking a barrage of attacks, it's not until Icky calls it a piece of junk that it moves, and it annihilates the goat bot with the rocket launcher. Wow. It charges the other two and punches them into the rockers, who admit defeat after losing rather quickly. Icky immediately starts to gloat over his victory, and Erica immediately starts telling Icky how useless he was and how he did nothing to help. Like, at all. Like, he didn't just buy a robot, plus find the medal, plus put it all together to save you. He could have just left you, but he didn't. Sweet Christmas, these children. Anyways, Medabots, who has a mind of his own, doesn't like that Icky insulted him and attacks him to end the episode on some slapstick comedy. And that's the story of how Icky got his first bot. However, Icky and his friends beg other questions. Icky is very cocky for someone who didn't have a Medabot to begin with. He starts off looking like a wise samurai, but is actually very bloated for his age. Even after he gets Medabots, he already wants his face in the papers. I would say he's self-centered, but he helps out when he needs to, so I guess he gets points for that. Erica is your daily news reporter, always on the hunt for the latest scoop. She's often mean to Icky just because they're such good friends, I assume. Samantha is the leader of her group of friends and a decent Medabot fighter. She often bullies those weaker than herself, including Icky in the beginning because he didn't have a Medabot. And she's only loyal to those stronger than herself, siding with the Rockers after they beat her friend and claiming she knew Icky would win after he did. And the referee, who is called Mr. Referee, will always be the best character. I'm sure we will see more of the Phantom Thief and the Shopkeeper later on, but for now, they were good background characters. The animation is pretty good for the year it came out, and the sound crew did a good job with the music and sounds of the characters in the Medabots. I especially love the sound of Dr. Bok Choy malfunctioning. Exactly what I imagined the death of Dial-Up to sound like. Overall, it seems to be a more episodic type anime with an overarching subplot that comes more to the front of the show as time moves on. The characters have their personality issues, but like the subplot, they will surely mature over time. At the end of the day, though, I can say I was pretty entertained. The battles were exciting as a kid, and the fights don't hold up as well as they used to, but the nostalgia's there, and it was a fun partner experience, I guess I would call it. I give Medabots a 6.8 out of 10. The Japanese version is immensely different from what we got here in the States. First, they actually explain what a Medabot is. The opening song and theme is vastly better with a catchier tune. Samantha is actually shown hitting her friend and saying damn it, just to name a few. Now to some people, this may not seem like much, but it changes a lot. Like now knowing that the referee is named Mr. Yoroichi and that he is an A-class referee. It's subtle, but it makes a difference. Even the sound quality and character noises are better. Japanese, Medabots gets a 7.3 out of 10. If you want to watch this series, I recommend it in Japanese. But until then, stay toasty, my friends.